Okay.
All right.
Okay. I'll
We're
Snapchat
all
you.
set. Yeah, you guys figure out the Minecraft strategizing elsewhere. But good evening, everybody. Welcome to the May edition of the Active Leadership Call. I see a couple of new faces on here, so I just want to go ahead and introduce myself and explain what this is. I'm Drew Hobson. I serve as Triangle Fraternity's Director of Chapter Services, which means I'm more or less the first point of contact for anything related to the undergraduate or active member experience. This call I started about 2 years ago as a way for active members to hear directly from staff and volunteers, as well as one another from other chapters, sort of what's going on, what are people working on, what struggles and successes are we having, and what best practices can we share. It's been a really interesting experiment that, the attendance has fluctuated pretty wildly. So I'm really excited to see as many people on tonight as I do. So thank you. I also give some of the other staff members on the call a chance to introduce themselves real quick. Tom, you want to go first?
Sure. Tom Pennington, Executive Director of Triangle. Happy to be here. Good to see a good crowd tonight. Got lots to talk about.
Jim
Phillips, part-time worker. I'm a growth specialist, so I work with some of the chapters that are looking to boost their recruitment, and they're doing a pretty good job. So excited to be here.
Thank you, Jim. Nikki?
Hey everyone, my name's Nikki. I'm new to staff. I started a couple months ago. I serve as the Director of Leadership Programs. So I help with all of our in-person and online leadership experiences, and happy to be here to talk about some of our recruitment resources later on.
Great, thank you, Nikki. We'll go ahead and start off with some staff updates. So the Triangle Professional Development Institute, or TPDI, was a success. We're starting to get some feedback from participants, both alumni and active members, and it's overwhelmingly positive. Obviously, we had some hiccups logistically getting it off the ground, but now that it's going, people have really enjoyed being paired with either an alumnus or an active member and doing a little resume review, mock interviewing, that sort of thing. So eager to sort of take the lessons learned from this, end of spring and apply it towards hopefully a revived program in the fall. Second of all, as some of you on the call might have seen, we had our Builders Growth webinar last night on event planning. Thank you all for attending. If you didn't see it, you'll find it on our triangle.org/recruitment website, which I'll talk about in a minute. But we're still doing this series. We'll be talking next week about increasing campus exposure or visibility. So we hope you can join us for that as well. So the Builders Growth Initiative is something that I've been sort of tinkering around with for a while. It's sort of a way of reframing more or less all of what we do or what we can do around growth and recruitment. So I have got a working document with a few alumni and active members, as well as other staff, putting their eyes on it and giving feedback on it. If you'd like to participate in that, just shoot me an email, drew@triangle.org, and I'll throw you on the Google document so you can look at that yourself and leave any feedback. Yeah, fourth point, update your chapter spot. I know a lot of groups have done elections in the spring, which is bizarre to me. But if you have done it, that's cool. Just make sure that you're updating the chapter spot officer roles, because I'm sure I've emailed a bunch of people that have graduated and they're not happy about that. And I've been ignoring their emails. So you should take care of that and update it so they don't get those emails from me anymore. And so you get emails. And then finally, some chapter presidents might have seen this. And again, I know some emails are out of date. But we've been doing sourcing some senior spotlights, the project that we're working on right now. We've got a couple of submissions. But if you want to highlight sort of yourself or a graduating senior that you know of, I've seen some chapters doing it on their Instagram. Reach out to me, and I'll give you sort of the rundown on what we're looking for, and we'll get you added to that, no problem. Tom, did you have some updates to share?
Yeah, a couple things. One thing you guys can look for is, Drew mentioned the chapter spot updates for officers. In July, we're going to roll over to kind of a new, let's call it a functional office. The one interesting and fun thing, well, there are many interesting and fun things, but one of the interesting and fun things about Triangle is when chapters are chartered, they kind of pick their own officer structure. We require a president, a secretary, and a treasurer, but that's about it. And so we have lots of VPs internal and external and VPs for all sorts of things. And unfortunately, we can't always tell what information to send to them. So, you know, who exactly is in charge of the ritual, who's in charge of standards, who's in charge of recruitment or philanthropy, that can change between every chapter. And so what you'll see is in July, we'll start to move to an officer structure that really allows you just to pick the function so that you can attach a job like philanthropy or public relations or ritual or alumni relations and attach that to the member who's responsible no matter what their office or title happens to be. And you may find that, you know, especially for our smaller chapters, a VP of external may end up having 4 roles, and it's fine. Just attach, you know, his name to each of those roles that you see as officers. But that will enable us, I think, to do a much better job of getting good information to the right person in your chapter that's responsible for that information. I don't think we've done as good a job of that as we could because officer titles are so inconsistent with a lot of our chapters. So you'll see that coming up in July. Also, for those of you who were in officer positions, maybe treasurer last year in the fall, we normally in April send out estimates of what your insurance bill will be in August. And if you'll recall, we have an insurance package and charge a risk management fee for that package and services. That bill is normally sent in August and it's due September 15th. And it's based on a basic per man charge times the 3-year average of your membership. We have not sent that out this year in April because we're working on a number of things to try to make that bill more manageable. We understand that chapters suspended operations and membership rosters may not come back the way they were. Some of you may be, you know, 20 to 30% lower in membership returning than what you expected. We also know that it's going to be tough getting up and running again. You know, you didn't really finish the spring. Recruitment is still kind of undecided. We're not sure what the fall is going to look like. So this is not the time to be billing you a lot of fees and up, you know, raising fees and that kind of thing. So we're doing our best to figure out a way where when that bill does come out, it's more manageable. We're talking with our insurers and Lloyd's of London about billing it in 2 installments instead of having everything due on September 15. We're talking about some options to reduce the deductible that we have to collect. So I'm hopeful that we'll have something in place. But what I will do is by the end of this month, probably middle of next week, I will send you an estimate for what we expect, hoping that that is the most you would have to budget for. And then understand, of course, that is an estimate and that we are still doing everything we can to reduce the overall impact of that bill by August. So I'm happy to, you know, answer questions. You're welcome to contact me at any time if you want updates or you're concerned about having that money set aside for those bills. But we have an insurance premium that we have to pay on September 15th. And if we can get the insurer to help us pay that in installments, so 100% is not due on September 15th, that would be a huge help. And we'll just divide it up kind of like we do national active fees. So those are the 2 big kind of things coming up in the next 10 to 15 days that you can expect. And then I think we're working on an end of month, kind of a state of the fraternity. You know, I have the ability to have access to a whole lot of resources from the NIC, from the Fraternity Executives Association, from college and universities, and a variety of sources. And they are generating an awful lot of information about what we can expect in the fall and what colleges and universities are discussing and what other fraternities and sororities are discussing. And so I'm working with the former national president for Triangle, Tim Eiler, and we are going to try to put together a summary of here's all the things we're hearing. Here's what we can derive from all of that stuff. Here's kind of, what we've synthesized from all that information and data. And here are ideas and recommendations that we can make to chapters so that you have time to plan and discuss and organize before we get any surprises in August and September. So we are working to find a clear path forward. But as you all know, things are pretty much up in the air until most colleges and universities solidify what they want to do. And even then it could change within 30 days if there's a spike in symptoms or viruses. So we'll see how that works, but we'll try to give you some direction, some guidance by the end of the month that you can use to work with your members.
Thank you, Tom. Nikki?
So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so folks can see what I am working with here. I wanted to give you an opportunity to see where you can find some of these recruitment resources. So all of you should be able to see my screen right now. I'm going to search here. So in order to find these recruitment resources, you're going to go to triangle.org/recruitment. And it's going to pull up this lovely photo here. And as you scroll down, you're going to see a ton of different resources. These have all been recently updated to be more digital in nature, to allow you to share them with your members in a way that could be useful to folks that learn in different styles or in different ways. And most notably, it puts it all in one place for you. So if you are looking for recruitment resources in this wild time of COVID-19, we are updating these on a regular basis as it relates to best practices for what you can do right now. So you'll see a couple different things on here. There are some general resources. The Recruitment Builders series, which Drew talked about. Some of these webinars and things are on here that we have done. They are pre-recorded, so you can feel free to use those if you were not able to join or share them with your members. And then also these here are the one-pagers that you've seen maybe shared on Facebook or Instagram or something similar. So here's a good example. You just click on this and it's going to pull up the one-page doc. So this is super easy. It allows you to get the information in real time, and it's very user-friendly. So this is only going to give you what you need. There is no fluff here, and usually the pages are probably like 1 or 2. So these are going to be great resources for you as it relates to trying to think about next steps for what your recruitment's going to look like. And then we've also got this really great resource here that is the recruitment guide. Oh, just kidding. We don't want that. We want this, the recruitment plan outline. So this is going to help you tremendously. It's basically a PDF that allows you to fill stuff in. So you can use this. You can work with Jim or Drew. As you can see here, super easy for me to do. You just save this to your computer. And basically, this is going to give you an opportunity to go through everything that you would potentially need in order to plan for the fall. So there are 10 components total here, starting from, the very beginning to, setting some goals, talking about a strategy, all the way to kind of creating a budget, looking at some of the training that you'll need. This plan will help you be accountable to your executive board officers, and it will also help you be in good communication with our staff to be able to help you where you need help. So again, all of this is very user-friendly, so you can put the event type like paintball, and maybe that's a bad example, virtual Q&A. And then you can use this. The great thing about it is multiple people can have access to this. You can save it in like a Google Drive or something similar. So again, this can be found on our website, and you can work with Drew or Jim in order to get that going for your chapter. There's also some great resources on here from Iowa State. So we've worked with Quinn, who is the leadership specialist with the chapter, and a lot of the chapter officers in order to get the resources that they used. So you'll see here, there's a ton of different stuff that they use. This is practical resources that help them gain quite a bit of new members and some great exposure on campus. So you can dig around through there. And then we also have some resources from Fired Up. So we recognize that some of these could be really great for you. And then some of them might be geared more towards different organizations on your campus that you might not resonate with. So if you want to take a look at some of the resources that Fired Up has, we think that's awesome. There's definitely some great things out there as it relates to the COVID-19 era of recruitment. So you can find some of these things on their website, Fired Up Productions. So overall, this is a great place for you to get a lot of information about the recruitment strategy, some good tactics, best practices, etc. And in about a month, we will be launching our new online training for Triangle members that will walk you through best practices for recruitment from start to finish, based upon a recruitment funnel that we've taken from company like Apple or Google or something similar about how they get prospects and they get people to buy stuff. We have converted that in a way that allows you to use that as a strategy to get more members into your chapter. So definitely keep a lookout for that. It'll be available on Plaid, which is where the Tightrope and Academic U is housed, but you can also find it on our site as well. And I am going to go ahead and stop sharing the screen here. But again, triangle.org/recruitment, super easy to find. And if you've got any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Great. Thank you, Nikki.
You're welcome.
Jim?
Yeah, so biggest thing I got to say is if you want to dive deeper into those recruitment resources and talk about where they could be applicable to different scenarios or even on your campus, whether it's big, small, medium, private, public, yada, 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 reach out to me at jim@triangle.org, and we can set up a time to talk, dive deeper into that. I really want to hit the recruitment plan a little bit harder. I think it is a great resource. It's something you can use semester after semester. There's a couple of people that are in here that I'm currently working with on it, and they've created great documents, and they'll be used as examples once they get polished up. So if you would love to look into creating a recruitment plan, I'll give you some good, honest feedback. Email me. We can set up a Zoom call and kind of dive deeper into it and split up sections and kind of go from there. So any recruitment questions or ideas, just reach out to me. I'll be happy to help.
Thanks, Jim. Moving on to council updates. This is the part where Joe usually has some stuff to say, but he's not on the call tonight. Merle, Pete, do either of you have anything to share about things that the council is either discussing or working on right now?
Drew, can you share your screen again?
Oh, sorry. I thought it would automatically revert, but it did not. Let me go ahead and do that. Did I do it right? No, I didn't.
Yeah.
This isn't the right share, is it? Is it showing? What's it showing?
Your Word document with the
Okay,
agenda.
we're good. We're good. Merle, did you have anything you wanted to share?
A couple of things. I'll briefly repeat a couple of items that Joe brought up Monday night in his Monday night Facebook talk that he does. Couple of things, really FYI. Normally during each summer, National Council meets, a new council gets sworn in based on the results of the spring elections. This year, since we will not be having a summer SCOBY Leadership School, we are going to conduct a virtual session where you'll be able to see National Council get sworn in, and in the same session we will be making awards to the chapters that chapters receive annually. Joe also mentioned that he, in his talk Monday night, is that our finance committee has been working with Tom to develop a budget. So we operate on a fiscal year basis based on a calendar school year. So our new fiscal year starts July the 1st. And of course, we want to have a budget in place. The budget's important for several reasons, because it lets council and the finance committee and on council kind of manage and see how expenses and income are going. And it also lets our staff know how much money they've got to spend in certain areas. So hopefully that budget it'll probably be adopted at the next council meeting. I can't think if Joe had anything else. The virtual get together we're thinking will probably happen at the end of June. Some of us may convene together if it's permitted at headquarters in Indianapolis, and then broadcast via Zoom to everyone who wants to attend.
Hey, Merle, this
Yes.
is Pete. I know you're at least looking into if there's what alternatives we would have as for initiations as well.
Well, that's my next, thank you, Pete.
Okay, sorry, I thought you were done.
No, I just was kind of highlighting some things that Joe might bring up. The other thing that I want to mention is that I'm chairman of the ritual committee. We have several people on the committee: Councilman Brad Keller, National Councilman John Eklund, and then we have an undergraduate, Tristan, who's the Oklahoma chapter president. And although this has not been approved yet by council, our recommendation going to council for the next meeting will be that if chapters want to use the short form of the initiation to do an initiation, they can ask for permission to do that. It only requires 2 people. It's 2 people with 1 person. So if there are chapters that are still in online only, you can proceed with an initiation. The only thing that we're also going to ask is then that the next time the chapter is back together, physically, geographically in one group, that a full presentation of the ritual gets made to those who were initiated using the short form. The short form can be found in, that's not showing up real well, but that's every chapter, and I realize you all don't have access probably to your documents if they're at the chapter house and you're not there, but Article 7 of the ritual manual describes how you can perform the short form of initiation. This is normally a initiation ceremony that is only used to initiate alumni, associate, and honorary members, and council would be waiving that restriction, so that if you're in a situation where you want to do an initiation and you can't bring everybody together to do that, it gives you an option to be able to initiate somebody. And that's all I have to say about what our thinking about ritual has been. And I can't think of anything else to cover out of National Council. Maybe Pete can jump in and help.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have anything to bring tonight. I'll just quickly say that I am on the finance committee. So what we are working on is trying to do everything we can to identify money in the Triangle Education Foundation that we can pull over. And we do that every year, but it's, of course, especially important this year. We know that, groups are going to be smaller, budgets are going to be tighter. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. But we're working on that with the Triangle Education Foundation very closely to see what other resources they have that could be helpful. So again, if you have any questions, just let myself know or Tyler Moore, who's the head of the Finance Committee.
Oh, I'm sorry. I've got tomorrow's the last day. If you need a grant from the Education Foundation, it's $500. If you are suffering financial hardship because maybe you lost an internship, you're not going to have a job this summer, or you've just hit some financial roadblock, you can apply for a $500 grant from the Education Foundation. Tomorrow is also the last day. The Education Foundation is looking for an undergraduate active member to serve as a member on the Education Foundation board. So if you would be interested in serving as the undergraduate representative to the Education Foundation, you need to get that application in before the end of business tomorrow. Sorry, Pete.
That was perfect, Merle. Thanks.
Thank you both. Definitely want to apply for the TEF Active Director position. We had some great applicants for the Active National Councilman. If that was a position that interested you, you should there's no reason not to also apply for the TEF Active Director. Similarly, if you're a chapter president that wanted to apply for the Active National Councilman, but were dissuaded because you can't be both, that can be your opportunity to get involved at a national level still, is to serve as the active TEF director. They don't have that sort of barrier in place. Also, Nikki reminded me that national awards are, the application is open. So if you go to triangle.org/events/buildingbettermen, all one word, you can see the requirements for applying. I've had a couple of chats with chapters doing their pyramid review, which is like 85% of the work is getting your pyramid score. So once you do that, get an alumnus letter of recommendation as well as a reflection letter from you. You're pretty much set. Really easy. There's no reason not to apply. Don't miss a shot at $100,000 to your CEF. If you need any help or you need to schedule your review, or you need me to look over your documents before you submit them, just drop me a line. We'll make it happen. And you have until the end of the month to get that done. But you obviously want to give alumni some time to write their letter of recommendation. Don't try to have your chapter advisor write you something at the last minute. It's not a good look. Moving on to chapter updates. Are there any active members on the call that would like to share what their chapters are working on right now, or things that are going on that they want to just throw in front of the group?
Yeah, we just finished school yesterday, I think. Yeah, the 13th. Other than that, me and Tucker have been working a lot on recruitment. And I talked with Merle yesterday about honorary members.
Yes, if anybody else has any interest in exploring alumni or honorary initiates, they should also talk to Merle, because he is our ritual guru right now. He can give you a little more insight into that process. Who else? Any other updates?
Yeah, from Wisconsin, we finished about last week. People are pretty excited. Yesterday, I had a phone call with our recruitment chairs, and we hashed out what our schedule is going to be. Jim, I think I'll send that into you just to get it approved and get some confirmation that we're doing all right. I'm going to talk with our vice president. He's in charge of Ritual to see exactly how we're going to deal with a couple of guys who wanted to be initiated as soon as possible. Maybe doing Pledge Ed over the summer. I've invited two guys, Connor and Max, who I think are going to be great up and coming e-board candidates. So they're sitting in on the call. But other than that, we're taking it easy. And yeah.
Thank you, Alex. Anybody else?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and say from Kentucky. I'm the newly elected president, so like not a ton of updates, but we've been working, my recruitment chair and I have been working with Drew for the limited time that I've been around, and that's been helping a lot to just iron out everything that we're going to do with recruitment in the fall. And then I've been working with the entire EC that we have to try to create just an overarching calendar of all the major events that we're doing in the fall and even through the spring, so that we know what all's going on when we're going to try to plan things around exams and as well as around like Founders Day and all the major events that we're doing.
Awesome. Thank you, Brandon. Anybody else?
Yeah, Anthony from Kansas. So we just wrapped up the last chapter last Sunday. Still continuing to have exec meetings throughout the summer, about every 2-3 weeks or so. Just submitted the CEF request for the last, for this year's budget. So that was submitted Monday. Basically, throughout the summer, still going to have positions by committees meet, have their positions ready for the fall. And then I had a question about house improvement awards. Is there like a specific application for that?
There sure is. So the property improvement contest is sort of just like always ongoing as far as I know. But they do have a separate application. I have it, the link saved somewhere, and I will make a note to send that to you, Anthony. And if anybody else that wants that, just throw your email in the chat. What the property improvement contest is sort of like a grant-based program that allows chapters to apply for funds for little projects that improve the house. Generally, things are given priority if they improve common spaces, right? So if they make our houses more appealing to guests and prospective members, those tend to get bumped up a little bit more. But you can get some free money out of it. No reason not to apply. You can use it on rental properties. So if you've not applied in the past because you don't think you can improve a rental property, you're wrong, and you might as well apply and get that free money. Thank you for that, Anthony. Also, just saw your Facebook and saw that you didn't always have that beard, and my mind is blown. But any other chapter updates?
I got one from Cal Poly Pomona, California. CPP. Now that I want to say, Drew, congrats on the resume workshop that you created. It was an extreme success, and I'm definitely passing on everything that I learned from there to the rest of the members, and they're excited about it. I've been telling them about it.
Awesome. Thanks, Enrique. I know Matthew's really enjoyed working with you.
Thank you.
Any other chapter updates? That's okay. Also, I see that John Cottage joined the call. John, did you have anything to add to the council updates?
I only got here about 3 minutes ago, so I'm not 100% sure what happened during the council updates, but it looks like what Merle and Pete said on the notes is more than adequate. Hello, everyone. John Cottage, National Vice President.
On the bridge of the executor, I think, but
the thing that blows things up.
Mm-hmm. All right. Moving on. Are there any questions or comments, words for the good of the order, that we can throw in here before we conclude?
Yeah, hey, this is Sam Van Cleef from the Michigan Chapter Alumni Board. First one of these attending, appreciate the invitation. It's been really good. We'll definitely plan on attending these in the future and encourage some of the actives and the rest of the A board to call in as well. So I appreciate everything you guys are doing. Everything seems to be going pretty well on our end here from an alumni board perspective. We still have a number of members living in our house, even with the shutdown and everything. So, not in any financial crisis or anything like that. So we're keeping our heads up high and trying to stay healthy. But appreciate everything you guys are doing.
Great, thanks, Sam. Anybody else? Baba Booey, Baba Booey. Seeing none, calling this meeting to a close at 8:36 p.m. Central Time. Thank you all for participating. I'll see you in a month. Again, this meeting is going to be recurring at the same time on the second Thursday of every month. So that means the next meeting will be, this handy calendar here, June 11th. It'll be here before you know it. Hope to see you there. Thank you so much again for your time, and I look forward to seeing everybody in a couple of weeks. Take care, y'all.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.